What's up, YouTube? I thought it was finally time for me to make a Paul McCartney album ranking list. I have to tell you, this was not an easy task. Paul is one of my, if not the most inspiring person for me musically. He's one of the reasons I wanted to learn guitar, bass. He's one of the reasons I started to write songs. I wanted to sing more because of Paul McCartney and the Beatles. So yeah, he's actually person that has, it's weird to say, but he's traveled along with me during my musical journey in a way. That also means I'm extremely biased towards his music. I want to emphasize also that even the lowest ranking albums are still albums that I enjoy. Actually, like, I don't think any of his albums are bad per se. Like, some albums maybe could have been done better, or some I'm like, dude, with the ability you have, how did you make this certain song, or like something like that. But like, those are just minor things usually. I'm comparing these albums within the Paul McCartney catalog, so like even the worst ones are not that bad per se. Also, I am not doing Wings albums today. Maybe I'll do this in another video, but Wings albums also tend to be more like in a band vibe than his solo albums. But like, this is not entirely true, of course, because many of his solo albums are also, recorded with a band. Other people also having a part in the writing process. Anyways, another heads up is that like Paul has released music in so many genres, from light jazz music, classical, which I'm also, by the way, not going to rank because it's so hard to compare these. But yeah, rock and roll, soul, funk, sort of musical songs. He has done so many genres, and in Dutch we say it is like comparing apples with pears. It is hard to compare certain albums with each other and like decide like what makes this a better album than the other, when they're entirely different in their genres, styles, in Paul McCartney's voice, in the instruments, in the arrangements. So that's another heads up. Number 19. So here I got Kisses on the bottom. As I said before, it is not per se a bad album, not at all actually. I quite enjoy listening to it. I don't listen to it that much anymore because, yeah, as I said, it is not like, in a way, the most innovative album. I mean, Paul McCartney doing this was not innovative, but it was like, wow, he's doing a like crooner jazz album with like all these jazz musicians and yeah, an amazing band. And I think John Clayton is on here and Diana Krall as well. Yeah, as you know, well, one of the most famous songs, My Valentine, which he wrote for his wife, Nancy, his wife that he's married to now. He plays it at his concerts for her, which is cute, and the clip also features Johnny Depp doing the hand sign. Anyways, yeah, I like some of these songs. I'm gonna sit right down and write myself a letter is nice. It's Only a Paper Moon. He sang Bye Bye Blackbird, which was sung by Ringo as well on his solo album, what was it, Sentimental Journey, I think. This is not a bad album, but it's just like, it is not like, wow, Paul McCartney didn't write many of these songs. Yeah, as I said, I don't like putting this on the last spot, but it is as it is, and just deal with it. We'll just go on to 18. Number 18. So 18 I got Back in the USSR, or Chaba VCCCP, which is, again, not a bad album. I'm gonna repeat myself if I do that, but I in a way, I don't enjoy the producing on this album much. Like, it is a bit airy. I think most of these songs could have done better, although I like the songs that Paul selected for this album, like That's Alright Mama, Ain't That a Shame, Kansas City, of course, yeah, Bring It On Home to Me. These are all classic songs, and but yeah, again, not too memorable, although I think it's pretty cool that this album was released in the USSR, like I think one of the first Western albums that could legally be released there. So that was quite innovative in a way, and pretty cool. And I think he also only released it there. So kudos to Paul. Number 17. So here I got Run Devil Run, which is another rock and roll album. I think this one is slightly better than Back in the US, like Choba VCCCP. Just because I think the vibe is a bit better. I think this was also released after, like, a year after Linda died, which is, you know, gives it a emotional vibe to it. Like, especially songs like Lonesome Town are beautiful. Run Devil Run is a great song, actually. This is one of Paul's songs. I in a way, I think this one is a bit more creative than Back in the USSR album. Just because there's a bit more original songs on it, and I think the producing is slightly better, but still it's on the low end because it is a song mostly with covers, mostly with, you know, rock and roll songs that I think, I mean, Paul was getting back to his rock and roll era in a way, so like, I don't blame him for making this at all. I think it's awesome that he did this, but it is on the low end of the list just because it's not extremely original. There's quite some covers on it, which is not bad, but like, it's not too innovative, and it's not like too striking for me. And this is not an album that I still listen to a lot. Number 16. Then we get Driving Rain, which is an album released in 2001 when Paul McCartney, he recently remarried Heather Mills. This album, I don't know what to think of this album, actually. It is not bad again. There's actually quite some good songs on it. I like Magic a lot. I like She's Given Up Talking. Driving Rain, the title track is alright, but it's kind of, I mean, I don't know. The cool thing on this album is you got Freedom on there, which was a song he made, I think, after 9/11. And he performed it live with Eric Clapton, I think. I don't know if you remember that video, but and that was like a hidden track, I think, on this album, which is pretty cool. I think that makes it that makes it better than these previous albums. Also, it's not bad, but it's just like, it just seems like Paul wanted to, you know, get back to writing an album after these rock and roll, like after Run Devil Run, for example. And I mean, the result is not bad at all. It is fairly enjoyable, but there are albums of him that are better than this, way better, you know what I mean? Let's just move on to the next one. Number 15. So before you start hating on this one, this is Paul's newest album, McCartney 3. It was released 2 years ago, 2020. I mean, it follows a series of McCartney 1, McCartney 2, McCartney 3, all he played all of the instruments himself. He produced the album himself, which is cool. But in a way, I thought it was a bit disappointing. I don't know how to explain this, but I was so excited for this album. But I have to say, I maybe listened to it 3 or 4 times, which is insanely low for McCartney albums I listen to. Like, I probably listened to Kisses on the Bottom more than this album, which is crazy. Why did I? Maybe I expected too much. Maybe I need to re-listen to it, but my problem kind of starts with the first song, which is quite repetitive, but like not in a cool way. I'm kind of like, I was like trying so hard to get into it, but it was like, I don't know what's going on. I just didn't enjoy it much. Like, I love the second song, Find My Way. I like A Kiss of Venus, especially the Dominic Fike cover version of it. I like some of the songs. I like, for example, is it When Winter Comes? But that turned out to be an outtake of Flaming Pie. So an outtake of a 90s song. Anyways, I like this album, but maybe I expected too much of it, and that's why I dislike it. Maybe if I didn't have these high expectations, I would have enjoyed this album more, which is my fault and not Paul's fault. Moving on. Number 14. So, Press to Play, one of McCartney's, I think, least beloved albums, in a way. I don't know why per se, because I think it is quite enjoyable, especially a ballad like Only Love Remains is, I love it. It's amazing. I like, angry, feeling angry, just looking at you, and stuff like that. It has some good songs. Of course, the thing with this album is it is so 80s, and like it is almost mocking. It is almost mocking the 80s in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like it has all these cliche elements of the 80s, like these drum, these snare sounds, these synth stuff, like, you know, it's typical 80s, and it just feels like Paul was trying to make he was trying to get in this 80s vibe, following other bands and artists, which doesn't make it bad per se. Like, I mean, all artists kind of look around them at some point and like, what is going on? You know, what shall I make? Shall I go and follow this trend? Which is fine, but yeah, again, it is kind of this album is kind of plastic in a way, and I don't mean it in a bad way, because I think it is a good album. Stranglehold is amazing, but yeah, it is kind of, I mean, it is not Paul's best work, let's put it that way, but it's still, I think it has some highlights on it, and it is quite enjoyable to listen to. It is in a way almost comedic, but I don't mean it in a way that I'm laughing about. Like, it is more like, I think it's awesome that Paul made this album. Let's put it that way. Number 13. So then we got Flowers in the Dirt, an album that is pretty beloved among McCartney fans. I mean, when I look around the forums, many people consider this as one of their top 5 albums, which I don't understand, but I still think it's pretty good, but in a way, I haven't really gotten into it that much. I think at the time, it was probably a very popular album, and it felt like McCartney was coming back into track with this album. I still think it is amazing. Of course, these songs, like most of these songs, were written with Elvis Costello, which is cool. I love My Brave Face. That's one of my favorite McCartney songs. So that song already puts it up to the list. I mean, this has many good songs. We Got Married, Distractions, Figure of Eight is amazing. I don't know, I can't explain you why, but for some reason this is not one of my favorite albums. I didn't listen to this album that much. It didn't attract me as much as some other albums did that I'll mention now. Number 12. So you might be asking, how on earth can you put Off the Ground above albums like Flowers in the Dirt? I actually don't know why. What I like about Off the Ground is, I don't know, I just like it. I like Looking for Changes. I like Biker Like an Icon. I like Peace in the Neighborhood a lot. Golden Earth Girl. These are all like songs that are very, close to my memory in a way. I think most of these songs are very catchy. Come On People is a great ballad. Wine Dark Open Sea is alright. It's not the best song, I think, of the album. Hope of Deliverance, of course, is an amazing song. One of my favorite McCartney jingles. Yeah, I don't know why. I also like the theme with animal rights around this. You may know it. I think at the concerts then he showed like footage of like poor treatment of chickens and pigs, which is like, he kind of shook some of his fans with this, but I still thought it was cool. It was like kind of a protest movement. I mean, yeah, I like this album just listening to it. I listened to it many times. I maybe would have put this higher, but like at the same time, I think some of these songs are very cheesy. They're good, but I mean, they're also very smart in a way. Biker Like an Icon is like, I mean, it is catchy, but it is also a bit cheesy. Golden Earth Girls, Come On People are great, but Paul could have done even better, I think. Do you know what I mean? I'm blathering on about this, but yeah. Number 11. So, Pipes of Peace. I like this album. Of course it features songs with Michael Jackson, Say, 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 and The Man, which are very catchy. Say, Say, Say was a big hit. Pipes of Peace is a nice song. It has a good clip. I love So Bad. the song. I love it so bad. With the falsetto, I think it's very, this album is very creative and arranging in genres. A song like Keep Undercover is like amazing. It's like this power pop going on. It's very rocky. It starts with these dramatic like solo piano parts. It almost seems like an epic disco vibe going on. I just love that song. Some other songs, Average Person is nice. I think this is very good for like Paul, considering he just came out of, I mean, it was 3 years prior, but he just came out of Wings. Yeah, he did a great job with this album, honestly. And yeah, I love this album. Number 10. So new. I am a fan of this album. So I started to become a Paul fan about a year after this was released. But yeah, this album is just it is just like press to play, a bit plastic, but like beautiful shiny plastic. I love songs like Save Us, Queenie Eye is amazing with the video clip and everything. There are some sentimental songs, On My Way to Work, I love that song. Early Days is a very sentimental song. The title track, of course, is insanely amazing with the harpsichord starting. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I mean, almost every song of this album I enjoy listening to. I Can Bet is like a casino song. Hosanna is kind of blurry and just like amazing. Everybody Out There is a bit simple, but it's like a nice crowd pleaser. Alligator is cool. When I just got into Paul McCartney and his solo albums, this really reinforced the sense of like, wow, he's still making amazing albums. Like, it's not just the Wings era and, you know, some of the hits he made after that. This whole album is great. And like, I remember the first concert I went to Paul McCartney in 2015, I think. And yeah, I think he started off with Save Us, and he played some other songs of this, which I enjoyed. It's a great album, great vibe. Number 9. So then, Tug of War, which is a great album. It's an interesting album. I don't know why, but it appears to be superficial or a basic album, but it is not at all. It is very wide-ranging. There's like a lot of stuff going on. There's of course the Stevie Wonder duets, like What's That You're Doing, incredibly funky stuff going on. Then you got Ebony and Ivory, which is a classic. Like, it's a bit cheesy, but it's a classic, nice, feel-good ballad. I like Wanderlust a lot. I like Here Today is of course very emotional ballad for John, which I actually prefer the live versions, but I mean, the song is amazing. Take It Away is so groovy. Tug of War is nice. It is a nice opener of the album. Somebody Who Cares is very underrated, I think. I mean, everything on this album is good, honestly. Ballroom Dancing is amazing. It's a cheesy, epic, classic, Paul McCartney song. Dress Me Up as a Robber is underrated. And then you have the song with Carl Perkins, Get It, which is also funny, a funny ditty. Great album, considering this was right after Wings breakup and right after John Lennon died. Like, that he managed to work on this album in that era is beautiful. And like, I think, this album means quite a lot to me. I mean, I don't know why, but do you get what I mean? It looks a bit like a boring album, but it is not actually. It's very entertaining and very like wide-ranging in depth, meaning, and beauty. Okay, I just remembered I forgot one album of the solo catalog, which is funny because I was gonna put it last. So this is number 20. Yeah, it's Give My Regards to Broad Street. I mean, this is kind of a meme among Paul McCartney fans, I guess. Maybe you don't know this, but Paul actually made a film. He wrote the script of this film. It was a 1984 film. In this film, it is basically... I don't want to bully Paul with this, but it's kind of like an ego trip, It's But I think it's funny because I recognize myself in this. You know, it's kind of a yeah. I think Paul was really looking forward to this movie, like as an opportunity to like be taken seriously as an actor, as a writer, as a script writer of movies. But yeah, in a way, I mean, the movie flopped. I think it cost him millions of dollars, and he didn't earn much back from it. It is still an enjoyable movie. I have to say, I only finished watching it once. I think I watched it like 5 times, and I stopped after 30 or 15 minutes. Like, I mean, it is just weird to look at this movie. It's cool because Ringo is in there. That's one thing, and yeah. But the thing is, like, he's just playing covers of his own songs, and like many of these songs are Beatles songs, which are like, why would you re-record a song like Here, There, and Everywhere that's already perfect? Why would you re-record For No One or Yesterday? I mean, yeah, it is not bad, of course. It is, but I mean, in terms of what was tended to achieve, what he tried to achieve, and what the result was, I think I want to give this the lowest ranking. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Although I love No More Lonely Nights, it's a classic, beautiful ballad, and yeah, David Gilmour's in there, of course, and yeah, it's that's the only thing that keeps this album like on 20. Otherwise it would have been like 21 with a gap in between, because you know it is this album yeah, not too memorable. Sorry. Number 8. So here we got Flaming Pie, which is another of those albums that just makes me smile when I talk about it. This album is actually not that I mean, not that wide ranging in its genres. It's kind of limited to this like pop rock genre with basic instrumentation, basically. Not too much crazy stuff going on in that sense, but it's just like, this album is amazing because it just goes back to, you know, writing good pop rock songs that just like work and just stay in your head for days. You know, it's like a song like Young Boy is like one of my favorite McCartney songs. It is so simple but so good. It is like almost cheesy, but it's like, it is the good cheese, you know, as my friend Cameron would say. I hope you're watching, Cameron. But anyways, yeah, this song is amazing. Calico Skies is such a nice song with a nice acoustic guitar riff. Flaming Pie is fun. Heaven on a Sunday, Used to Be Bad is a nice song with Steve Miller. Of course, Steve Miller also played solos on these songs and like sang backing and stuff like that. The World Tonight is a good song. I mean, this album is, as an album, I think really good. I mean, the songs themselves are not even that specifically like I mean, mind-blowing in a way, but like, this album is an album you can listen to over and over again. Like, you can have this on a CD in your car, just listening to it every day, and it's like, it wouldn't bother you at all. Like, every song is enjoyable to listen to. Of course, Jeff Lynne took a major part in this. Yeah, Jeff Lynne played many songs on this album. I think he even produced one of the tracks. But it is amazing, and Paul plays many of the instruments himself. I think Young Boy is entirely Paul with a solo of Steve Miller, with the exception of that. Yeah, it is just very creative and very, I mean, this album is very close to the heart and very rootsy, you know. It makes it hard to compare to the other albums, which are maybe more creative and experimental, but sometimes have less of this rootsy and like warm vibe. Yeah, I just like this album a lot. Beautiful Night is one of those, you know, classic McCartney ballads. I love that song. Great Day is nice. Ringo plays on Really Love You, I think maybe on one more song. Yeah, he plays on Beautiful Night, of course. But yeah, just a great album. I enjoy this album every time I listen to it. Number 7. So I got Egypt Station on this spot. Maybe some of you will disagree with this. But man, this is a good album. I was so thrilled when this came out. I was at the height of my McCartney love, in a way. I mean, I was, yeah, at this point I had listened to almost all of McCartney's albums several times. And yeah, I had a good knowledge of what he came from. and I mean, yeah, this was just great. Like, it is a bit of a concept album, of course, with opening station and stuff like that. The cover album is a painting of Paul himself, which is nice. It is just funny with these songs, like in a song like For You, which was produced with Ryan Tedder of One Republic. It's just, it is so poppy. I mean, it is almost kind of annoying. It is like, it sounds like something very general on the pop charts, but that's why it's like, that's why I think it's so cool that Paul made this like song with Ryan Tedder. I mean, a song like Come On To Me is funny, it's weird. Everything is so goofy, but it has like, yeah, close songs as well. Happy With You is beautiful, warm song, sweet song. Hand in Hand is amazing. Like, it's very, I mean, how do you explain that? It's very emotional in a way. Dominoes is insanely good, very Beatlesy. Back in Brazil is amazing. It's so goofy with all the sounds that are added to it. My favorite, in a way, my favorite song of this album is on the last, like the last medley, the song Naked, which is, yeah, you should re-listen to it now if you don't remember what it sounds like, but it's so funny. It's like this 50s song almost with modern like arrangements. Yeah, very creative. I mean, it has its cheesy moments with People Want Peace or something, not my favorite track. Caesar Rock is funny. Everything is just so creative, and I was so thrilled when this came out. That's why I gave it this high spot on the ranking. 6. So, yeah, some of you might be thinking, what is this album? I have never heard of this. Well, if you haven't, stop this video right now and go listen to this album, because this is amazing. Of course, it is kind of cheating that I put this in here because this is released under the Fireman. It is not an official solo release of McCartney. It was made with DJ Youth in 2008, so like late 2000s. It is just so creative and amazing, and like I think Paul played all of the instruments on this album. Yeah, a song like Nothing Too Much Is Out of Sight, the opening track is just, oh my god. When I hear it, I just go crazy. I just go running around the room and screaming along, because this is experimental, like, banger. It reminds me of very much like Beatlesy, like the 66 era, 65, like the experimental Revolver Time with Rain and stuff like that is like, yeah, it is amazing. And then it's followed by Two Magpies, which is such a funny little like calm song. Then Sing the Changes, which is like a power pop, like stadium pop anthem. Yeah, Light From Your Lighthouse is just like sing along of like Irish pub sing along song or whatever. It's just so funny, and the sound on this album is just amazing. I think probably like DJ Youth had a major contribution in this sound. But yeah, it is one of my favorite albums because I also think it is one of the most creative things that Paul has ever produced. Like, you can see Paul was just having fun with making this album. It is just so creative and so like boundless in a way, and I think it helped that he put this out under the Fireman, because he didn't have any sense of like, oh, I am Paul McCartney, I have to keep up with the Paul McCartney sound or Paul McCartney stuff, like, if that is even the case. This album is just so thrilling, and if you haven't listened to this yet, yeah, I can recommend it. This is one of my favorite albums of Paul ever. Number 5. So we got McCartney 1. I don't know if this even needs introduction. I mean, this was the first solo album Paul has released. Yeah, right after the Beatles, around the Let It Be time, and had the controversy. I think this album had to be moved because of the Let It Be release, which Paul was not happy with. He tried to sue them even, I think. Yeah, this album, I mean, do I need to talk about this? This is just so much fun. I actually wanted to give it a lower rank, but I listened to this recently and I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing. I mean, this is so playful. The fact that he made this after the Beatles is so cool, because in a way it is so simple, and like, he could have received so much critique for this. I mean, it was well received overall, but like, he could have received so much critique because it is, I mean, it is like almost naked compared to Beatles productions, of course. I mean, he produced it himself. He recorded everything himself. I think mostly in the Scotland farm, right? But yeah, I mean, songs like Every Night are just insanely good. Lovely Linda is a beautiful little ditty to start it off. I mean, this is just a like lo-fi, lo-fi cult classic in a way. It is so fun. Ooh You is just such a funny bluesy song. I mean, it has Maybe I'm Amazed on there, which gives it this spot almost automatically. Junk is one of the most beautiful songs ever. And the album as a whole is also very good. I mean, you can listen to this in one go and it's just enjoyable. And it's, every song is refreshing, but every song is also very rootsy. And it seems like you're at I'm at the cradle of whatever is about to come of McCartney's career. And it's just, yeah, I mean, I can talk about this for long, but let's just move on. McCartney, very good album. Number 4. So here we got the 2007 classic Memory Almost Full, which is, I mean, it is one of my favorite albums. I mean, something like McCartney 1 would have been it's probably better, like as in at the time, and like the innovativeness at the time. But I mean, we're talking about my favorite album, so yeah, this is just, I mean, do I even have to say this? Ever Present Past is a classic. It's like, you know, the video where he's teaching bass or whatever. It's just so funny. Only Mama Knows is like, I think he won a Grammy for Best Rock Voice because his voice is like insanely good there. Especially given that I think he was 65 at the time of this, so like, yeah, that's crazy. This song is so playful, so poppy. It has Mr. Bellamy is insane. You Tell Me is so cool. That Was Me. The End of the End is a funny ballad. See Your Sunshine. Yeah, it is just like, this song just makes you smile when you listen to it. It's so poppy and joyful. I mean, do I have to say anything about this? Dance Tonight is a funny mandolin song. Yeah, great album. One of my favorites and my friend Cam's. Again, I hope you're watching, Cam. Anyways, yeah, what do I say about this? This is just one of McCartney's best albums, in my opinion. Number 3. So, McCartney 2 on here. Yeah, again, as I said before, it is almost comparing apples with pears. This album is, I mean, how do you compare this to McCartney 1? It is hard. I mean, the only similar characteristic is that they were both produced and like recorded by Paul. It's just so much fun to listen to this album. Like, Temporary Secretary is a classic. On the Way is a great bluesy song. Frozen Jap, great. Dark Room, One of These Days is a nice cheesy ballad. Just like Waterfalls is also quite a, I mean, it is kind of cheesy and I mean, is it a song that I'm gonna cry about? No. Is it a song that I smile about? Yes. Yeah, and many of these, like Summer's Day song. This album is just a trip, and like it takes you on this whole experimental phase of Paul McCartney when he started using all the synths and stuff. I mean, he used them before, but now it was like he's going crazy in this. And Coming Up is just it's a banger. Do I have to announce this even more? This is one of my favorite albums, and I still listen to this like rather frequently. I mean, a few times a year probably. It's just like I put this album on and it's just enjoyable. And yeah, what do I say about this? This is just McCartney 2. It's just a classic. It's a cult classic. Number 2. So we're approaching our number 1. The McCartney fans among us probably can already decipher what the number 1 is going to be. But anyways, let's just talk about the number 2, which is Ram. I mean, yeah. Again, do I need to talk about this? Yes, I'm going to. Monkberry Moon Delight, boom, is just amazing. It's McCartney's rock voice at its peak. Like, it is so creative. yeah, all the songs are so creative, and the fact that he also made this quite recently after the Beatles is just crazy. Too many people with the controversy with Lennon. Ram On is beautiful. Dear Boy is insane. It's like such a trip, and it's so creative. It's so creative melodically. I mean, I think this is some of the best work that Paul's done melodically. I mean, Ram On is such a memorable melody. Dear Boy, Uncle Albert. Eat at Home is such a funny song. Smile Away is a nice rocker. Backseat of My Car is one of the coolest and most underrated McCartney songs in my opinion. Yeah, this album is just, yeah, it is a classic under McCartney lovers, and I totally agree with that. Like, it is good, it was fresh, it is still fresh and innovative when you listen to it. Yeah, it has at the same time these rootsy rock vibes, but also these very monumental rock arrangements. Something like Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey is of course a very famous song of the album, but it's like, yeah, it is just so cool, and then you see like him building up to, you know, the good stuff in the Wings, like Ben on the Run and Venus and Mars and stuff like that. Very good, and yeah, a very high spot on the list because it is just so classic. It is timeless. It is so creative. It is just cool, and I don't want to say much more about this. It's Ram. Number 1. So, Chaos and Creation, again, one of those albums that are maybe, you know, not in your top 5 spot, but certainly in mine. I'm pretty biased with this album because I listened to this a lot while I was like in a very important transition in my life. I was like going to college. We were going on this trip in Latin America, seeing all my friends from when I was like, I used to live in Latin America as a kid, so like, I saw all these friends, and these songs just like were there for me at that time. Yeah, as I said, I was moving to a big city in the Netherlands, going to college. Yeah, and like the summer and the start of that college year, I listened to this album a lot. But nevertheless, even if it wasn't for that period, this album is like, oh my god, I think this is this is the best album McCartney has made ever. And I think this is one of the best albums there is. I mean, it is hard if you're not into this style, it is hard to really understand why I think this is so good. But like, I don't know, this album is like the definition of delicacy, and it is so well done. I mean, I don't know what to say about this. A song like Too Much Rain is so emotional, it grabs you like right in the heart. How Kind of You is beautiful. Jenny Wren, of course, like he said he's inspired by Blackbird, is like the little child of Blackbird or whatever. Friends to Go is like, everything is like, almost every song is in a sense perfect. Like every song is perfectly produced. All the things that are added to these songs are exactly good. Like Friends to Go, these backing vocals, How Kind of You, the sounds of the organ, and the ending of How Kind of You is also like insane. Follow Me is kind of like a cheesy song, but it's so good, and like, I don't know, everything is perfect on this album. And then you also have these rockers of like Promise to You Girl, which is a great song. These ballads like This Never Happened Before. Anyways, one of the songs that is most dear to me. I remember sitting in the airplane to Latin America, listening to this song, and just like, yeah, very, very emotional. English Tea is funny. It's just, I mean, I don't know how to explain this, but it seems like, yeah, with almost every song, Paul McCartney just hit the nail. A Certain Softness is so amazing and funny. Yeah, I think every song on this album has a special meaning for me, and I think every song is just, yeah, good, and every arrangement is just right. I think it was produced by Nigel Godrich, who did a great job. I don't think he worked with him again actually, but he should. Anyways, Chaos and Creation, absolute number 1 on this list. So yeah, this was it. This was the ranking of Paul McCartney's solo albums. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, it was hard to maybe to get through. I'm not a native English speaker, so it's hard for me to express what I'm sensing with some of this music. I hope it was fun to watch this. I mean, take a look at your own preferences. I mean, it is interesting also why you think some albums are better than others. For example, like, you know, is it emotional value? Is it like because some songs are better than most of the? I mean, how do you make this decision? Leave in the comments also, of course, your favorite albums, your top 5. You can send me your ranking. You can send me anything you think about this video. Make sure to, of course, subscribe to this channel for more. Like this video, share it with your friends. Yeah, and be sure to comment and let me know what you think about this list. What you and what is your own preference? Like, what albums are your favorite? You know, and why? And you can also tell me which albums you think are just like horrible and, you know, you should be ashamed of if your name is Paul McCartney, you know. Anyways, thank you for watching. I'm not going to keep you longer, and I'll see you next time.